So the reason why I do this work, I'll share a little bit about my story. At a point in my career, I was working at a prestigious, well-known organization and doing HR. And this is where, for me, it became real on how you're perceived. So I was working as a manager, and the director position became available. So I am at the manager level, and the director position became open. And so, I went back and forth in my head on whether I was going to actually apply to this director position. And I said to myself, well, if I don't apply, do that give out a message to the leadership team that I'm not interested in moving up in my career? Definitely did not want to put out that message. So I went forward. And so I went through the interview process, and I was not successful in getting the director level position. The organization, they did give me feedback, and the feedback that I received was, hey, Lisa, you're great, in your position. We just don't think you're quite ready for the director level. Okay, fine. I was very receptive of that feedback. The only thing that I asked the VP at that point, I said, great. I said, my goal is I do want to become a director one day, a HR director, and please bring someone in that I can learn and grow from, because this is my career. Great. So the new director came in, and she came in and, got the team together. And then what I started to notice is, wow, okay, she's good, but there were some things I was like, well, wait a minute, what about this? What about that? So I felt that I couldn't grow or learn from this person. So you know what that did? That made me angry. I gotta be the first one to admit. I got very angry because I was like, what? The organization is telling me that I'm not ready for this director level position, but you're gonna bring in a director that me and my colleagues can run circles around? Hmm. So I got angry, and I got frustrated. And I said, well, you know what? This message to me tells me that I am not ready to be a director at this organization. And so I made up my mind at that point that I am going to start looking for another position outside of this particular organization. And I'm only applying for director level positions because I enjoy the organization. I love my job, but maybe I'm just not ready to be a director here. So I started sending out my resume only for director level positions. And guess what? Companies started calling. Organizations started calling. So then I was like, whoa, that means some other organizations looking at my background, looking at my skills, looking at my resume, they think I'm ready for a director level position. But the current organization that I'm working in, who knows more about me than just what's on a piece of paper, they felt that I wasn't ready. So I made the difficult position. I interviewed. Things had to feel right for me in order for me to leave this prestigious organization and go work for somewhere else. And I made the decision to interview. And once I started interviewing, I got an opportunity at another company at coming in as a director. The person that I interviewed with, who would be my boss, her and I clicked. We had a connection. She said to me, Lisa, I think you are more than ready. She was in Albuquerque, New Mexico, and she was looking for someone to run DC operations. And she had full confidence in me to come on board and to run HR for the DC space. And, it was tough, but I went into my current organization and I submitted my resignation letter. And of course, everybody was like, whoa, Lisa's leaving. And, it got around the organization like wildfire. And I got pulled in to the CEO's office and was asked, "Why are you leaving?" And I said, clearly I am not ready to be a director at this organization, but I put my resume out there and I got more than one call. So other organizations think I'm ready now. And so it is a huge risk. I love working here, but in order for my career to take off, I have to take that step. And so I did. I took that step. I left this prestigious organization and I went to join another company as the director. And hindsight is 2020 because I got into that organization and ended up staying 9 years and went from the director level to the vice president level before the company was sold. So I share that story because when I look back, I was like, I was being perceived a certain way that the leadership team at that, prestigious organization, they felt that I wasn't ready. And so it really, of course it hurt, but it really forced me to do some sort of a self-reflection, like, okay, how am I showing up? Maybe I didn't have the executive presence that they were looking for at that director level. And again, it's a prestigious organization. So they were looking for something certain, and clearly they felt that I didn't have it. So, it took some self reflection. And from that point forward, I said, you know what? I have to work on this. Even when I got to my new organization, how do I want to be perceived? How do I want to show up? How do I want leaders to look at me, the senior leadership team? And so I started to intentionally work on that and in this leadership presence or executive presence.